It's one of the biggest questions we can ask. Maybe the biggest. Where did this thing inside our heads come from? This voice that talks to us, this feeling of being me, this awareness of ourselves, of our past, of a future that doesn't exist yet. Um, what was the spark for human consciousness? The simple answer is there wasn't one. It wasn't a lightning strike. It wasn't a single gene mutation one Tuesday afternoon millions of years ago. There was no magic button. The truth is much messier, and it's much more interesting. Consciousness wasn't a spark. It was a slow burn. It was a fire that grew from many different logs, each one added over a vast stretch of time. To understand it, we have to go back, way back. Let's start before the beginning. Imagine our ancestors maybe 3 or 4 million years ago. They weren't human yet. They were apes, walking around the savannas of Africa, Australopithecines. They were smart, like a modern chimpanzee is smart. They could solve problems, they had social groups, they felt fear and hunger and affection. But were they conscious in the way we are? Did they lie awake at night worrying about what others thought of them? Did they wonder about the stars? Almost certainly not. They lived in the present, the immediate world of survival. Eat, don't get eaten, reproduce. So, what changed? What started the fire? The first log on the pile was a simple change in posture. We stood up, bipedalism, walking on 2 legs. This seems boring. It doesn't sound like a revolution. But it was everything. Standing up freed our hands. For millions of years, our hands were just front feet. They were for walking on. Suddenly, they were free to do other things, to carry food, to carry infants, and most importantly, to carry and to make things. This is where the second log gets thrown on the fire tools. At first, they were simple. A rock to smash open a bone for the marrow inside. A sharp flake of stone to cut meat off a carcass. A chimp might use a stick to get termites, but it doesn't carry that stick around all day, improving it, thinking about its next use. Our ancestors started to. They started to understand that one rock could be used to shape another rock. This was a huge mental leap. Making a stone tool, even a simple one, isn't just about banging rocks together. It requires a plan. You have to look at a raw piece of flint and see the axe head inside it. You have to imagine a future object. Then you have to figure out the sequence of strikes to make that object a reality. This is abstract thought. It's a conversation between your brain, your hands, and the physical world. This created a feedback loop. The more we used our hands to make tools, the more we stimulated the parts of our brain responsible for planning and fine motor control. Better tools meant better food, like protein-rich meat and marrow. Better food meant we could support a more energy-hungry brain. And a bigger, more powerful brain could invent even better tools. The brain and the hand evolved together. Each pushed the other forward. For a long time, this was the pace of change. Slow. Tools got a little better over 1 million years. The brain got a little bigger. But then came the next big log on the fire. A game changer. We captured fire. We don't know exactly how it happened. Maybe a lightning strike set a tree on fire, and a brave ancestor managed to keep a branch burning and bring it back to the group. However, it changed everything. Fire provided warmth, it provided protection from predators at night. But its biggest impact was on our food. Cooking food is a form of predigestion. It breaks down tough fibers and proteins, it makes nutrients and calories much easier for our bodies to absorb. A raw potato is mostly useless to us. A baked potato is a great source of energy. This new, dense source of calories was like rocket fuel for our brains. The human brain is an incredibly expensive organ. It's only about 2% of our body weight, but it consumes 20% of our energy. Without the surplus calories provided by cooked food, a brain as big as ours would have been impossible to sustain. But fire did something else too. It created a place, a hearth. For the first time, our ancestors had a safe, warm place to gather when the sun went down. Before fire, darkness was a time of terror, a time to hide in a tree and hope a leopard didn't find you. After fire, darkness became a time for community. People sat together, they weren't just eating. They were together in a shared space, looking at each other's faces lit by the flickering light. They were probably grunting and gesturing. They were connecting. This social element is the next crucial log. We are, at our core, social animals. Our survival has always depended on the group. But living in a group is complicated. It's not enough to know how to find food. You have to navigate a complex web of social relationships. You need to know who is your friend, who is your rival, who owes you a favor, who is cheating the system, who is the best person to partner with for a hunt. Who can you trust to watch your child? This is incredibly demanding work for the brain. Well, it requires memory, not just for faces, but for interactions, for histories, for reputations. This pressure to understand and predict the behavior of others is what's known as the social brain hypothesis. The idea is that our intelligence didn't primarily evolve to solve problems in the physical world, like making tools. It evolved to solve problems in the social world. Our biggest challenge wasn't the lions in the grass. It was the other humans around the fire. To be really good at this social game, you need a special skill. You need to understand that other people have minds. They have their own beliefs, their own desires, their own intentions. Just because you know something doesn't mean they know it. This is called theory of mind. It's the ability to put yourself in someone else's shoes mentally. We take it for granted, but it's a profound cognitive leap. It's the foundation for empathy, for deception, for teaching, for cooperation on a large scale. When you start thinking about what others are thinking, you are one step away from thinking about what you yourself are thinking. The spotlight of awareness, which was once pointed only outward at the world, begins to swivel around. It starts to point inward. You become an object of your own thoughts. You start to see yourself as an individual actor in this social drama. This is the seed of self-awareness. You're not just a body feeling hunger. You are a meme who is feeling hunger. You have an identity. This growing social complexity needed a better operating system. Gestures and grunts could only get you so far. You can point to a lion. But how do you communicate the idea? Yesterday, I saw a lion near the river, so we should hunt somewhere else today. For that, you need language. Language is perhaps the most important log on the fire. It's hard to overstate its power. Language isn't just about communication, it's about thinking. It gives us a way to structure the world and our thoughts about it. It gives us words for things that are not physically present. Words like yesterday and tomorrow. Words like love and justice. Words like why. This language lets us share knowledge across generations. An individual can die, but their wisdom can live on in the stories they told. It allows for incredible cooperation. A group of hunters can create a detailed plan before they even set out. It allows us to build a shared culture, a collective understanding of the world. And crucially, language gives us the tool for an inner life. Think about how you think. For most of us, it's a conversation with ourselves, an internal monologue. We use words to reason through problems, to worry about the future, to replay past events. This inner voice, this narrator in our head, is a huge part of what we experience as consciousness. Without the structures of language, what would that inner world even be like? It might be a stream of images and feelings, but would it be self-reflective? It's hard to imagine. Language gave our thoughts a shape. It allowed us to turn that spotlight of awareness into a finely focused beam. So now we have all the pieces. We are walking upright, with hands free to manipulate the world. We are making sophisticated tools, which requires planning and abstract thought. We are sitting around fires, fueling our growing brains with cooked food and strengthening social bonds. We are living in increasingly complex social groups, which forces us to think about the minds of others and, in turn, our own minds. And we have language, a powerful tool for thinking, planning, and building a shared reality. None of these things alone created consciousness, but together they created an unstoppable feedback loop. A bigger brain, fueled by better food, could handle more complex social relationships. More complex social groups required better communication, driving the evolution of language. The language, in turn, allowed for better planning, leading to better tools and hunting strategies, which provided even more food for the brain. Round and round it went. For hundreds of thousands of years, the fire was no longer just smoldering. It was starting to roar. This is where consciousness emerges. It wasn't a sudden event. It was a gradual dawning. The slow accumulation of these new abilities. It's like the way wetness emerges from a collection of water molecules. A single H2O molecule isn't wet, but put enough of them together, and you get the property of wetness. Similarly, a single neuron isn't conscious, but connect 86 billion of them in the right way, shape them with millions of years of evolutionary pressures from tool making, social living, and language, and you get consciousness. So what is it, this thing that emerged? It's our ability to mentally time travel. A dog lives largely in the present. It can remember things, of course, and it can anticipate a walk, but it doesn't seem to dwell on its past mistakes or spend hours planning for its retirement. We do. Our minds are constantly flitting between a remembered past and an imagined future. We construct a story of who we are, a narrative of our life. This narrative self is the core of our conscious experience. It's the EI in the story. It's also about recursion, the ability to think about thinking. And I can know something, but I can also know that I know it. I can feel sad, but I can also reflect on why I am feeling sad and wonder if I should feel differently. This ability to take a step back from our own thoughts and feelings, to observe them as if from a distance, is a uniquely human form of consciousness. It allows for metacognition, self-correction, and deep introspection. When did this all come together? When did a creature that looked like us start to think and feel like us? The evidence is hard to read. The physical brains of our ancestors, Homo erectus, and even Neanderthals, were as large as ours, sometimes larger. They made complex tools, they hunted large animals, they probably had some form of language. They were very intelligent, but were they fully conscious in our sense? The best clue we have comes from a period around 50,000 to 70,000 years ago. Something changed. Archaeologists call it the Great Leap Forward, or the Upper Paleolithic Revolution. Suddenly, the human toolkit became much more diverse and sophisticated. We see the appearance of finely made bone tools, needles for sewing clothes, spear throwers for more effective hunting. But, more than that, we see the explosion of art and symbolism. All around the world, our ancestors started painting stunning images of animals on cave walls. They started carving intricate figurines from bone and ivory. They started creating jewelry, burying their dead with elaborate grave goods. This wasn't about survival, this was about meaning. A cave painting is not just a picture of a bison. It is a symbol, it's an idea made real. It shows a mind that is not just concerned with the immediate world, but with stories, with myths, with the spirit of the animal. Burying someone with beads and tools suggests a belief in an afterlife, a concept that requires a deep understanding of time, self, and the possibility of a future beyond death. This is what many scientists believe is the first undeniable evidence of a fully modern human mind. A mind that is not just intelligent but symbolic, a mind that creates its own reality through art, myth, and ritual. This is the moment when the fire of consciousness becomes a blazing beacon. The big brain had been in place for a long time, but now, the software of culture, symbolism, and complex language was running on it at full speed. So the spark wasn't a spark at all. It was the friction of hands on stone. It was the warmth of a shared fire. It was the complexity of a social glance. It was the sound of a new word. It was the stroke of paint on a cave wall. It was a million tiny events spread across millions of years, each one adding a little bit of fuel, a little bit of oxygen, until the slow burn of intelligence finally burst into the flame of self-awareness. It's a humbling story. It means that this precious, strange thing we call consciousness is not a gift from the gods. It was built. It was built piece by piece by the pressures of survival and the complexities of living together. It's a product of the earth. It's rooted in the most basic acts of walking, eating, and connecting with others. And the process isn't over. Our consciousness is still being shaped. It's shaped by the technologies we invent, from the written word to the internet. It's shaped by the cultures we build and the stories we tell ourselves. The fire is still burning. We are just the latest stage in its long and unpredictable journey. The question of what sparked it is really a question of what we are. And the answer is that we are the accumulated result of a very long, very slow, and very ordinary process that, in the end, produced something truly extraordinary. There was no single moment of creation. We have been creating ourselves and our own minds all along.